Good morning. I hope you're well. It's episode 19 of Win the Morning TV. Friday morning. Happy Friday. Hope your week has gone well so far. We're looking into a bank holiday weekend, a long weekend. I hope you have some nice things planned. I hope the weather turns out to be good as well. It's really windy out the Curragh here this morning. So this morning we're going to talk about the phrase of when I was. Okay, we'll jump into that in a minute. I just want to let this run. Facebook takes a little bit to catch you up when you go live. So if you're looking in, if you're watching in, let me know. If you're watching live, hashtag live, or just say hello. How are you getting on? All that good stuff. If you're watching back on replay, let me know as well. Let me know how your week has gone. Are you happy with how your training, your nutrition, how everything's gone in your week? So, our men on my program, the Real Man Coaching program, this week our focus around nutrition has been on protein intake and getting the right portions into each meal. And it surprised me, nice surprise, how well it's gone, how much interaction there is in the group, how much sharing there is in the group. And in that kind of group environment, particularly with men, once one person kind of leads and starts posting stuff and looks for that accountability, starts posting pictures of his meals, starts kind of letting us all know what he's doing, how it's going, then that's infectious, and it kind of builds a nice comfortable space for everybody else to join in on that as well. So just wanted to mention that big shout out to the lads. They're doing really well on the program. Let's keep it going and push on through the weekend and into next week too. So when I was, that phrase, maybe you're somebody that uses that a lot. Maybe you know somebody, one of your friends, one of the lads that uses that phrase. When I was in my 20s, I had a six-pack. When I was in my 20s, I was able to run 5Ks twice or three times a week. Or when I was in my 20s, I was able to go to the beach, take my top off, feel confident around that. When I was in my 30s, I felt confident with my top off at the pool. When I was in my 20s or when I was playing football, it's always that reflection going backwards of when I used to be this, when I used to be that. And particularly with men that start off on my coaching programs or men that are inquiring about my coaching programs, that can be often what the conversation or what way the conversation goes is around when I was back in the day. I was able to do this, I was able to do that. And where I try and start with new clients, with new men on my program, is to get a reference point for where you are now, what's your starting point. Because obviously it's great to look back on the things that we used to be able to do and probably the highlights of your sport and career or when you're in peak physical condition, but that's not the reality now. Maybe that was pre having kids, pre having a busy job, pre-mortgage, pre-whatever responsibilities that we all have now, pre not having a busy life or having things that commitments and responsibilities that you have to do every day, every week, every month. So your reference point for your physical fitness, if you keep referring backwards to when you had loads of time, when you could go to the gym 4, 5, 6 times a week, or when you could spend 2 hours in the gym 2 or 3 times a week, where you could eat whatever you wanted and it didn't affect you, that's not the reality now. So when I start coaching men, when men come onto my program, that's where we start. Day one, week one is an assessment of what's your starting point now. Where are you at with your, across the 4 areas of life, or the 4 quadrants of life: your health, your family and connections, your personal development, your career. Where are you at now? Because using the past as your reference point or as your goal for what you want to achieve now, is you're going to set yourself up for failure. It's going to lead to a lot of frustration for yourself. So we need a reality check. We need to think of the long term. We need to get away from thinking, Jesus, when I was 20 I could fit into these jeans or this shirt, and that's what I want to do now. So it's about having that reality check, understanding where you are, understanding your responsibilities, understanding how much time you have now to give towards your health, your fitness, how much energy, how much focus that you can give to it on top of everything else that you do. So we all lead busy lives, and particularly nowadays with work, family, other commitments, lots of distractions around social media, phone uses, all those kind of things. So you have to consider everything when you're setting out on a health and fitness journey, but that's not to say that you can't achieve the things that you want to achieve. It's about setting realistic targets and turning that phrase from when I was into I am now doing ... I am now training 3 times a week for strength. I am now doing 2 aerobic fitness sessions a week, working towards improving my 5k. So when you're having conversations with the lads, or when you're having conversations with your family, your friends, your colleagues, whoever you'll be chatting to, you don't have to refer back to the past anymore. You don't have to refer back to the glory days. You can now be excited and be motivated and be willing to tell people about what you're doing now. So now over the last month, I'm after losing 5 kg because I'm doing this. I am fitter now than I was last month. I am working towards squatting X amount of weight. I am working towards losing X amount of weight on the scales. I am working towards a certain body fat percentage. But we need to bring it into the present. We need to be realistic, and it's achievable. We need to do it for the long term. So that's really it for this morning. I just wanted, maybe this resonates with you, maybe it's something that you currently do, maybe it's a mindset that you've got into, is constantly referring back to the past and referring back to the glory days, where you can achieve everything you want to achieve now. You just have to consider all your other commitments. You have to consider maybe doing it over a longer period of time, and yeah, setting out on that path, but knowing your reference point for that. Okay, so bring yourself into the future. Be the person that's talking about the present, not referring back to the past, because in reality nobody really wants to listen to that. How many times have you heard lads sitting in the pub talking about, yeah, when I was in my 20s I was this, I was that, or when I was in my 30s I was this, I was that. And you see it through football and sport as well. Lads constantly referring back to when they were playing with teams, when they were in peak condition, and that's great, but what are you doing now for yourself? How are you looking after your health, your fitness? What are you trying to achieve now? That's the most important thing. Okay, if you got something from that this morning, let me know. It was episode 19. We're moving on to episode 20 next week. If you're up and at it, let me know. Win the morning, win the day. That's the mantra. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope that the weather improves and we're getting some sunshine. I'll chat to you all on Monday. Have a good one.